Never forget your power. Never forget that you can be anything that you desire to be, you know. This may sound cliche or corny, you know. I know a lot of people say there is no limit, but it's true, you know. Every reality you can think of, everything that you can imagine in your mind exists in some reality. It's simply about aligning with that frequency and feeling worthy enough to be there, or feeling worthy enough to see it, you know. But the best way to attract something is to be it, you know. We attract what we are, you know, not what we want. We attract what we are. So that's why people always say birds of a feather flock together, because everything is energy. So the energy that is around us is what we are vibrating at. It is what we are, you know. So if you desire to change that, change who you are. You know, if you aren't inspired by looking at your friend group, if you aren't inspired by your current circumstance, then change what you feel inside. Change the habits that don't serve you. You know, so it is so easy to feel like a victim. It is so easy to feel like you do not have any control over these things. But in reality, it is also so easy to change these things. It is also so easy to be aware that it is all a result of something we manifested, you know. We are not victims to anything, you know. We are creators. We are destroyers. We have the power to do it all, you know, and it's simply about remembering that. It's simply about getting back to that remembrance, you know. I've been reading some good books lately. The Power of Now and Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I believe that's the title. The second one's by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I had to look what the other one was. But yeah, they basically both touch on the power of presence and how presence, in the present moment, everything is happening simultaneously. The past, the present, and the future. So once you understand that, you understand there's no need to be looking back on the past. There's no need to look ahead into the future when everything is right here. One of the things that was really interesting, or something that's always been interesting to me, that was in the book of The Power of Now, is the idea of being the observer and not identifying with your thoughts, realizing that you are not your thoughts, you know. Once you do that, you know, life becomes a lot easier because you aren't identifying with the ego, you know. The ego wants to be attached to something. But once you can learn to detach and just observe and not absorb, you know, life becomes a lot easier. You are able to just flow more and not really take in so much or take on so much. By no means am I saying not to feel. I'm just saying that you are not the feeling. You are not the thought. You are simply the observer of those thoughts, you know? So next time you catch yourself being overwhelmed or overly emotional, take a step back and be the observer. Take a step back and detach and just simply watch. Also, your brain is a powerful tool, you know. You could either use it to benefit you, or it could unconsciously be used to destroy you or to create a living hell. You could also create a living heaven with it. if you choose to do so, you know. So if you are going to focus your attention or your intention anywhere, focus it where it makes you feel good, you know. Don't focus on the things that make you feel bad. Don't focus on the things that make you feel ill. Focus on the things that bring you joy. Focus on the things that help you thrive. Focus on the things that help you rise, you know. Use your mind. Don't allow it to work against you, you know. Your mind can be used to create anything, you know. The mind created airplanes. Imagination created everything you see around you. Everything we see around us now is simply the result of imagination. So use your imagination to help you build a great life. Do not use your imagination to dwell on the past or to dwell on pain. Because if you use your imagination to do that, you are going to simply create the same things, you know. You are going to unconsciously create things that you don't want. So remember, use your imagination to create great things. Do not use your imagination to create loops and cycles. Because if you are stuck in the past, if you are constantly thinking back into the past, you are going to unconsciously relive that. You are going to unconsciously attract those same experiences, whether that's partners, whether that's bad jobs, whether that's whatever it is. You are going to keep manifesting it if you keep focusing on it, you know. So focus on the things that you do desire and focus on feeling good, you know. Once you combine the feel good with a great thought, everything changes. Y'all have a beautiful day. Love y'all, fam. Yeah.